So here we are in portal.azure.com. We're going to have a look at the different ways that we can control roles here in Azure. I'm going to go up here to the menu bar. We're going to go over to Azure Active Directory, Azure AD. And as you'll see here, there's a blade called Roles and Administrators. I'm going to click on that. And here you go. You got a nice big long list of the different roles that Microsoft has created. All right, so notice some of the roles say administrator, some of them say developer. All right. You'll also notice that you'll see the word editor, reader. Okay, you're going to notice a pattern here, operator. So one thing I want to give you guys some advice on when you're preparing for this exam, and I'm not just talking about the hands-on stuff here, the labs, which is what I'm sort of focusing on, but what I want to warn you about is it's a good idea that when you're studying that you get familiar with some of these different roles and what they do. And one of the best ways to do that is to click on some of these roles. Like, for example, security administrator. Let's click on that one. Okay, you have assignments here, and as you can see who's assigned those rights. I'm going to click on description, and this is what I really love about Microsoft. I really feel like they've got this right here. First off, they give me a nice little comprehensive description. It says users with this role have all the read-only permissions of the security reader role, plus the ability to manage configuration for security-related services. Azure Active Directory Identity Protection, Azure Information Protection, Privileged Identity Management, and Office 365 Security and Compliance. So if you look at that little description now, scroll down and notice that they tell you all the role permissions. So this is what I was saying earlier, where Microsoft documents exactly what the role permissions are. And it's right here in front of you. You can look through this list and see everything that this person can do. Okay? This person being somebody who was granted this role. So as you can see, a bunch of read permissions down here towards the bottom, but there's also some permissions that involve management up here, creating, deleting, updating, all that good stuff. Let's go back. We're going to click on the Contoso Role and Administration Preview breadcrumb here. Okay, we looked at the security reader. Now take a look at the security administrator, sorry. We're going to take a look now at the security reader. Click that. And same thing, click description, and notice it says users with this role have global read-only access, including all information in Azure AD, identity protection, identity management, as well as the ability to read Azure Active Directory sign-in reports and audit logs. So you notice this role here is a reader, so based upon that naming convention, you're going to have read privileges. So that's one thing I want to give you right out of the gates here as a good tip for the exam. An administrator is obviously going to have administrative rights, whereas a reader is going to have read privileges. So this is great in a situation where you have a user identity that needs to be able to come in and see all this security related stuff, but not necessarily make any changes to it. Okay, so another verbiage to look for here, you'll see the word global. Global means, they can see everything in your Azure Microsoft 365 environment, like the global reader. Okay, you have administrative roles, SharePoint administrator, Skype for Business administrator, all that good stuff. You have the Intune administrator, all right, which is the one I want to look at right now. This would be maybe a role I wanted to give to a certain user. Let's say this was a lab scenario and the exam is asking you to add a user to the Intune administrator role. So in other words, they might say give the Intune administrator role to, let's say, Alexandra Smith. So here's the user right here. We clicked add assignments. We're going to assign that to Alexander Smith. We're going to click add. And that user now has been given that role. Now, I also want to remind you that, there's more than one way to achieve this, depending upon where you're at. You could also have just done it over here in Azure Active Directory. Click on the user. There's the user right there. And then from there, I can add the user this way as well. So there's a simple way to do it. We just go to assign roles. There it is. So this way too, one thing that's great about this is that it allows me to go in and see exactly what roles this user has already been assigned. In this case, Intune Administrator is the only role. But also I could click on Add Assignments. And of course, again, that's another way that I could achieve this. Okay. All right. Now, we're also going to be taking a look a little later at the portal.microsoft.com side. And from there, you're going to notice that if you go, you click Show All and click Security, there's an area called Permissions where you can grant role access through the Security and Compliance Center. This is another place that roles can be controlled. We're going to take a deeper look at some of this. So here's some of the other roles that you didn't see in the Azure side. Some of them you did, some of you didn't. All right, records management, e-discover, reviewer. So I encourage you also to come over here and learn about some of these different roles as well.